All right. This is the third try, so I'm just really not going to do this again. I messed up with the audio the first time, and then second time I didn't even have the audio on. So that's kind of embarrassing. Guess that happened though. Spoke to a camera with no audio recording for 15 minutes, That's fun. Anyway, name change here with Broke to Stoke from Jasper Forest, of course. I'm still, of course, Jasper Forest. I didn't legally change my name to Broke to Stoke. That'd be hilarious. But, so here we are. Broke to Stoke is the idea of the channel, always kind of has been, starting a business from scratch and highlighting that path or highlighting other people's paths from, the bottom, like starting some sort of business and building that from the bottom up. And that's what we are, just highlighting those kind of stories. That's what my plan is on this channel. And I just want to say I've tried a couple things in the last week that are kind of new to me. I bought myself an NFT. I changed up one of my Instagram accounts to also be Broke to Stoke. And so that account, I posted some reels on talking about crypto, talking about starting my business last year and how I've spent $3,000, but also made about $3,000 and things like that. And so this video is really just talking about where I kind of want to go with like content creation and things like that. I do want to focus on that idea of For the Record being like a podcast where I can bring artists and individuals in and talk to them maybe on the phone or have them, like just whatever, somehow have a little video of them up here and we're talking back and forth about how they started their career or started their business or what they've been doing with their art and things like that. For the Record would definitely be a really cool project for me to just continue to do what I really want to do, which is focusing on other people's stories and sharing those stories with other people and hopefully helping share inspiration, because I think that's like a really important thing. Honestly, I think that, a lot of people are afraid of trying to enter the career space of like content creation or being online and turning their business more online than like a physical thing. But I think that there's many, many ways that you can monetize your business from online in ways that are not harmful to your business in a physical setting as well. If anything, it just helps your physical setting do better. So I personally don't have like my own studio or anything like that for photography, but I do have my bedroom right here that I'm working out of with my own lights that I'm working with and my own audio equipment to be able to try and create some sort of platform for other people to also be able to work off of. So this is, of course, just like what I'm aiming for. This is there's going to always be an evolution to it, of course, as well. But that's sort of, just how it goes. You subscribe to my channel and you can then watch me kind of grow this channel and this platform for other creators to also be able to hopefully one day, be able to call in and have people like, right here in the podcast in a little screen up here, or maybe I'll have a place where I can have people actually sit down with me, or maybe I'll go to a business or a person's studio and sit down with them with my lights and my cameras and talk to them about their story. That's really kind of what I want to do. I've been saying that over and over in pretty much every video. I think focusing on For the Record would be a really great project for me personally, and finding people to work with locally to highlight their businesses and things like that is definitely kind of what my goal is. So mostly that's that. Like I said, I've been trying a bunch of new things. I bought my first NFT, which is a non-fungible token. Not many people seem to understand what that is, so I will probably be making a video talking about specifically what NFTs are. It's in short, right here, I will try and do it as quickly as I can. It's a digital asset that is pretty much formed and created on the blockchain of some sort of cryptocurrency. There's multiple cryptocurrencies and tokens that support NFTs, and through the blockchain, essentially, you can then become the legitimate owner through like a blockchain wallet and buying it and yada yada yada. Now, a lot of speculation is going into NFTs right now, but specifically the NFT that I bought into is personally a really interesting project. I think kind of something I've never seen, where it's one of 300 people who buy into this NFT will be selected to win a car. And so I find that really interesting because I don't think that there's really ever been anything like that quite yet on the NFT space. And it's pretty limited, one of 300. Currently, there's nowhere near that many people who seem to be interested in actually buying the project, but I think that it could pick up some interest in the coming days, and who knows? I mean, it's a pretty interesting project. I definitely wouldn't suggest buying into it yourself unless you personally find it interesting as well. Same thing with cryptocurrencies and same thing with stocks. I personally would love to try and find a way to talk about stocks and talk about how I invest in stocks and things like that. But I also want to be very careful to not mislead anyone or lead anyone down a path to follow me or anything like that. Because I personally have, I've made some very good wins and gains here and there with different companies, but I also want to be very transparent that I have not yet come back from all of the losses from my first 2 years of investing. My first 2 years of investing were pretty brutal. I would buy things and they would just drop 40% all of a sudden the next day, and that was a terrible experience. But I did also learn a lot. Of course, I will always suggest learn how to trade using paper trading, which is not real money. You can find paper trading simulators online. Just Google it. I don't have to send you to any specific link or any specific one. Just Google it, find it yourself, and you'll be able to do that. I am really just focused on trying to help elevate other people and things like that. So I think, storytelling is something that I really am into. Of course, I've always been into sharing the stories of others and sharing the paths of others, so that maybe someone can become sort of inspired by the story of someone else. I've always been inspired by people's stories, so that's really, kind of where it is. I want to be able to tell stories. That's it. And maybe I'll also sort of slowly document my own journey through just continuing to create and things like that. So currently I've been slacking on photography, like as a practice and a skill. I haven't been really out much doing much photography since I went to Maine. It is getting colder and it is becoming winter. I definitely didn't get as many photos of like the fall foliage as I wanted to or should have. but I guess, things happen. And other than that, I mean, in reality, I'm not really looking back on anything with any regrets right now. I continue to always overestimate what I should be doing. I'm always like, oh, I should have done this. I didn't do that. And then when I look back 3 or 4 months, I'm like, wow, I'm actually in a pretty good position compared to where I was back then. And so, I think it's important to just always keep looking forward and really keep focusing on whatever you're doing. And sometimes you might get hate from people, and people might get jealous, and people might, try and say that, you're fake or whatever. But it's really hopefully it's water under the bridge. Hopefully you can stay focused on doing whatever you want to do. I've definitely sort of had my highs and lows in the last couple of weeks, and there's a lot of times where I'll be like, yeah, I'm really doing well. I'm really happy about what I'm doing. And then I'm like, oh, there's so many things that I need to do. I really want to upgrade my lenses and my cameras, but that's going to cost a lot of money. And I just spent a lot of money on my new computer, and I don't really have much business going on. If I keep pouring money into my business and not really focusing on getting business with the tools that I have currently available, then I'm just going to keep wasting money or spending money. It might not be a waste because maybe I can make those investments work for me in the future. But the reality is it's you have to spend your money wisely, but you have to spend your time even more wisely. And a lot of people think maybe I'm wasting my time on YouTube. And, sometimes I think that myself as well. But I also enjoy doing this. I feel really good after I actually sit down and make a video. Now, I've gotten a little bit frustrated with this one because the first 2 times I had audio problems. And so that's that. But it's also something that helps me learn and get better for when I'm in the situation of doing something like this with a client. If I have a client who wants to sit down in front of a camera, in front of the lights, in front of a microphone and talk, this is something that I have to be able to be, ready to pull out all of my gear and do it. So, it's a skill of its own to film yourself. It's a skill of its own to film someone else and capture them in their best light and their best story, to try and direct someone as well, or direct the questions so that their answers create a nice flowing story or something, So that's really it. Just really excited with a bunch of new things that I'm trying to do. I'm going to be talking about NFTs next week. I'm going to be talking about, what products you should buy new and what you shouldn't buy new, or my thoughts on buying new, and things like that. I'm just going to try and start making more videos just focused on sort of my thoughts on little individual things why you should start now, or how to set up some goals, or what kind of videos you should be making, because honestly that seems to be a thing that people, even myself, struggle to figure out. What should I be doing? What is the content that people want to watch? Also, what is the content that I am passionate about? How can I inspire other people? Things like that. So, that's it. I'm going to have to go to work pretty soon. So I'm literally not even going to edit any of this. I'm just going to upload it. Yeah, that's it. There's a lot more coming. And I'll probably see you before next week. I'm going to post something over the weekend. I'm sure of it. All right, cool. That's a goal. Hopefully I do it. Maybe I won't. I hope I do. I will not fail you. More importantly, I will not fail myself. All right.